Hey guys, how's it going? CoderMan here. So I want to create the next episode in the small business series, which I've been putting together, and I will leave a annotation to the playlist where I'm kind of diving deeper into small business ownership and everyday running of it and growing and just starting out. And today's topic is going to be on pricing. So we all know in business that you have to get paid. I mean, that's pretty simple. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're mowing lawns, building skyscrapers, building apps, it doesn't matter. Everybody wants to get paid. How do you work on pricing when you're just starting out? Now, the traditional way is hourly. So you're going to build a website. It's going to take 30 hours. You bill your hourly rate times 30. Okay, great. So let's use that example. What is your hourly rate? Well, people start off really, really low because they don't think that they have the skill set. And that doesn't work because when you're bidding on projects, even if you're just starting out, you won't have a really fleshed out portfolio, but you need to be putting forward that you're a professional, not that you're just somebody that's playing around with business. For your hourly rate, this day and age, I really wouldn't start anything less than $60 an hour. And that really is the minimum. Even if you're building a website for, say, a friend or a family member, you still want to get paid, but that's a little different topic. You kind of have to decide what it's worth and if you're going to be providing value to them outside of it. For you really to make a living doing this, and it's not a hobby, you need to be making about $60 an hour. And the reason for that is because especially when you're starting out, you don't realize all the expenses. Now, when you go work for somebody, you get a salary and it kind of takes care of everything. All the operating expenses and everything is all absorbed in the company. Your health care is generally covered or at least partially covered. But when you own your own company and you're a freelancer, or even if you own your own small business, all of those expenses kind of come down to you. Now, in the instance of freelancing, like I said, $60 an hour minimum. Building a company where you have employees, I really don't recommend billing hourly, but if you absolutely have to bill hourly, $80 to $100 is pretty standard for, a good designer developer agency, small business. Now, in my case, I don't bill hourly. We haven't for a while now. I actually bill in components by the project. So if we're building, let's use the example of, let's say we're building a mobile app for a new social network. So you're going to have the mobile app, you're going to have the back end, you're going to have database, you're going to have some sort of a content management system or some sort of a content delivery network. What I'll do is I'll break it down line item and each one is assigned a cost. It's immaterial how many people are going to be working on it. It's immaterial how long it's going to take. This is just, here's how much it costs to do X. And it also gives the customer a finite understanding of here's how much the project's going to cost. If we add things to the project or take things away, we have to alter the pricing accordingly. But I've gotten away from hourly pricing as much as possible. There's a couple of instances where for like maintenance and retainer based and, oh crap, we need this 1 hour, 2 hour little quick thing fixed on an existing project, then we do it like that. But for the most part, I do it by the component of the project. When I was starting out, I did hourly, and the problem is there's two issues with it. One, you're selling your time for a specific hourly rate. But the other is, let's say you have a client where you say it's going to take 20 hours. If it's the only project that you're working on, you may be able to bang that out in 2 days. Okay, great. But let's say you have other projects. You say, okay, it's going to take 20 hours of development time, but I'm not going to have it done for 2 weeks. So it's kind of like there's a disconnect there where they're like, well, how little are you working on this project? Because as we know, clients don't actually care if you have other customers. You are their main source, so that's as far as they're concerned. You only work for them or work with them. The reality is they kind of know you have other customers, but they just don't care. So if I say it's going to take 20 hours, and it takes 2 weeks to develop and finally deliver to the customer, it's not going to be ideal. Where if I say, let's say in the $100 an hour category, it's going to be $2,000 to build that website, and it'll take 2 weeks, or it'll take 10 days, or whatever the time frame is that you need. there's really like, they don't, I mean, you could kind of extrapolate how long it's going to take to build it, but most customers don't even care. They're going to cut you a check for 50%, you're going to do the work, and you're going to get the other 50% in 10 days, and you'll be all set. Whereas if you do it hourly, the other problem is they start to, I've seen this happen a lot actually, they start to add in things that they think only take a couple of hours. And it's not that easy because there's other factors. Maybe you have somebody else working on it. Maybe you charge more effectively for design work, or, there's all sorts of different factors that if you bill hourly, you kind of lose that. The other problem is it's very difficult to raise your rates. So if you're working with a customer and you started off doing $60 an hour and you've been working with them for 2 or 3 years, it's really difficult to call them up and say, okay, you know what, I'm now $75 an hour, I'm now $100 an hour. What more value are you bringing them? Exception being, if you're providing another service or a new service, then great. There's a reason for increasing your prices. Whereas if you do project or component pricing, I mean, they really don't know how long something takes or how much it costs. As long as you're not greedy or mean to your customers, which you shouldn't be, you should be able to price it accordingly. So let's say last year you did a basic entertainment website, like a brochure style website for an app, and it took you 20 hours, so you billed $2,500. Now you have more projects, you can bang them out quicker, so you can turn the project around faster. You can actually charge more money for that, because you could say, oh, you know what, yeah, we'll do that entertainment website for that app, and it'll be $3,000. They don't know every component that goes into the process, so it's like they don't really care at that point. But when they see hourly, they do. And I know this from experience because I've seen it. It's happened to me when I was starting out. Like I said, I did hourly. It just doesn't work. So hopefully that explains the difference in pricing between hourly pricing and component-based pricing, or some people also refer to it as project-based pricing. If you have any questions about this topic, go ahead and leave a comment below. Like this video if you like the content, subscribe if you're new here, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.